Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, December 17, 1903. The Wright brothers are working on the motorized glider and it's 10:25 a.m. As Orville Wright pilots the plane, it takes off, leaving both the brothers astonished. On December 17, 1903, at 10:25 a.m. in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, Orville Wright piloted the Wright Flyer, which he flew 40 feet down a rail, lifted off, and flew 120 feet in 12 seconds, leaving Wilbur Wright running behind him on the ground. The Wright brothers faced many problems before they created an airplane that could sustain flight. Gliders were primitive. They lacked good controls during flight and lacked power as they couldn't support long-distance flights without altitude, they thought. The successful test of the Wright brothers' powered glider demonstrated that powered, sustained, and controlled flight was possible. They had no idea their invention of the airplane would lead to new, safer, more efficient transportation and delivery, as well as new weaponry in battle and future space and air technology that would change how aerodynamics worked. They did not know how their invention would lead to technological advancements that they could only imagine. Wilbur Wright was born on April 16, 1867 as the third child, and Orville Wright was born on August 19, 1871 as the sixth child of 7 total. So, what led to this new technology that ushered a new frontier? For the Wright brothers, it wasn't so complicated. It was actually because of their father, Milton Wright. Milton Wright, being a bishop of the United Brethren Church, had to travel a lot because he needed to preach frequently. He would usually bring back toys for his children, and in 1878, Milton Wright brought back a helicopter made of cork, bamboo, and a rubber band to power and twirl the blades. The model was based on a design by the French aeronautical pioneer Alphonse Pénion. Wilbur and Orville were fascinated by the toy and its mechanics. The fragile toy didn't last long before it broke, but it caught the attention of the brothers, so they tried to replicate the toy themselves. Milton Wright greatly influenced the lives of his children, as both Wilbur and Orville were independent thinkers with a strong confidence in their talents, an unshakable faith in their judgment, and a determination to persevere in the face of misfortune. The bishop's dislike of negotiation may have influenced the Wright brothers' marketing later in life. Wilbur and Orville were the only members of a Wright family who did not attend college or marry. Wilbur, who had plans to go to college, decided not to when he was injured in a hockey accident in the winter of 1885. For 3 years, he spent his time recovering his health, reading in his father's library, helping his father with legal and religious problems, and caring for his mother who had died of tuberculosis in 1889. Following their mother's death, Orville, who had spent several summers learning the printing trade, persuaded Wilbur to join him in establishing a print shop in the local area. The Wright brothers were renowned for having a reputation for the quality of the presses they sold to other printers. The printing presses they made were indications that the Wright brothers had extraordinary technical ability along with their unique approach to solving problems in mechanical design. The Wright brothers opened the bicycle sales and repair shop in 1892 and began to build bicycles on a small scale in 1896. Profits from the bicycle shop and printing shop were used to fund their aeronautical experiments from 1899 to 1905. Their experience in designing and building lightweight precision machines out of wood, wire, and metal tubing was ideal for constructing flying machines. Later on, they read accounts of the work of German glider pioneer Otto Lenthal, but it was reports of Lenthal's death in a glider crash in August 1896 that marked the beginning of their serious interest in flight. Moving forward, from the start of their work in aeronautics, it is clear that the Wright brothers could find a mechanical issue and work towards a solution. It was clear that the brothers figured out that for successful flight, they would need a propulsion system, a way to control the flight through the air, and wings that would generate lift. Something that aided the Wright brothers was Lenthal, the German aviator from before, who had created wings capable of carrying him in flight, while the builders of self-propelled vehicles developed lighter and more powerful internal combustion engines. The final problem to be solved, they conclude, was that of control. The Wrights sought to control their machine through precise manipulation of the center of pressure on the wings to induce a helical twist across the wings, allowing the pilot to raise or lower either wingtip at will. Their early testing of wing warping, as it would be called, was conducted using a small biplane kite in the summer of 1889. Discovering that they can move a kite in any direction would lead to the brothers designing a large-scale glider. Lenthal's data was used to calculate the amount of wing surface area needed to lift the machine and pilot in a wind of given velocity. Over a decade, the Wright brothers continued improving their glider models by using a wind tunnel and improving wing efficiency with lots of different wing designs. The results of the wind tunnel tests, the brothers began work on their third glider. They tested the machine at Kill Devil Hills Camp in September and October 1902. The gliders performed exactly as the design calculations predicted. Wright brothers shared flying duties, completing 700 to 1,000 flights covering distances up to 622.5 feet and remaining in the air for 26 seconds. They also added a movable rudder linked to the wing warping system. Now, after taking care of problems, the Wright brothers started working on their first powered glider. They first worked on building a 4-cylinder internal combustion engine with the aid of Charles Taylor, a mechanic the brothers hired for their bicycle shop, and the Wright brothers developed twin pusher propellers based on their wind tunnel data. The brothers returned to their camp near Kill Devil Hills in September 1903 and spent the next 7 weeks assembling, testing, and repairing their powered machine and conducting new flight tests with the 1902 glider. Wilbur made the first attempt at powered flight on December 14th but stalled the aircraft on takeoff and damaged the forward section. On December 17, 1903, Orville made the first successful flight, covering 120 feet through the air in 12 seconds. Wilbur flew 175 feet in 12 seconds on his second attempt, followed by 200 feet in 15 seconds. During the fourth and final flight of the day, Wilbur flew 852 feet over the sand dunes in 59 seconds. The 4 flights were witnessed by 5 local citizens and demonstrated powered, sustained flight under the complete control of the pilot. In November 1909, the Wright Company was founded with Wilbur as president, Orville as one of the 2 vice presidents, and a board of administrators including some leaders of American business. They established a factory in Dayton, Ohio, and a flying field as well as a flight school in Huffman Prairie. Wilbur eventually passed away on the morning of May 30th, 1912 due to exhaustion and typhoid fever, causing Orville to take over in business matters. Still, he eventually sold his interest in the company to a group of financiers. He won the 1913 Collier Trophy and worked as an engineer during World War I, helping the Dayton Wright Company plan for foreign aircraft designs and develop a pilotless aircraft bomb. Orville Wright devoted the remainder of his life to defending the Wright brothers as the inventors of the airplane, leading to a long-running feud with the Smithsonian Institution. On January 27, 1948, Orville suffered a heart attack and died 3 days later in a Dayton hospital. The Wright brothers' invention of the airplane had an immediate impact on the field of aeronautics. It led to a rush among inventors to build more sophisticated aircraft and eventually leading to the development of early military aircraft and air travel. It made a foundation for modern aircraft and incented advancements in other fields as well. They didn't know that they would make air travel accessible to millions of people, housing global commerce and allowing people to travel faster and further than ever before. Air dominance has played a critical role in the military as it is a key factor in many conflicts. The Wright brothers' invention also majorly inspired generations of people to explore the skies, becoming a symbol of progress, making them very iconic figures in history. From a simple rubber band, cork, and piece of bamboo, they created a whole new idea of flight, and while doing so, the Wright brothers also influenced the idea of space travel as well as new technology. Planes have been used in wars since 1911 and are still used today, with the Air Force dedicated to them along with the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. The Wright brothers could not have possibly imagined the enormous impact their invention would have on people's lives today, or how much better their little airplane would become. There is some controversy about whether the Wright brothers really invented the airplane. Even if they weren't the first inventors of the airplane, they created a whole new frontier in history and made an impact on the world that should and will never forget.